Well, hello, it's Raven. Welcome to a video. Today I'm just doing a basic speed build. This is my first speed build for this channel, and I do apologize for the bottom of the window being cut off. I'm still trying to figure out the correct resolution settings or what have you with my recording software, and it's very confusing. I'm still working on it. Please bear with me. As you've probably noticed, I like to put down my furniture first, just basic placeholders, so I know how big to make the rooms. I've tried so many times to build a house with the walls first, build the rooms first, like, most people do, because that seems like the logical way to do it. But I always make the rooms either way too big or way too small, and when I do it that way, I do the entirety of the house. I do the roofing, I do decks or patios or balconies that would just all get messed up if I then change the size of the rooms, and it's just such a hassle. So I started building from the inside out, basically, with just using placeholder furniture so I could see how big everything needed to be, and it seemed to work out a lot better for me this way. You're gonna see in a minute that it didn't work out too well with this house. I spent a long time trying to figure out the sizing of, I guess, the living room slash study nook corner slash fireplace area. It was a bit of a hassle. This bathroom also, this is a master bathroom. I wanted it to resemble this bathroom at a bed and breakfast I stayed in Iceland a couple years ago. I know it's a weird thing to just remember a bathroom from a trip I took a while ago. Of all the things, it was the bathroom, but it had this shower that was basically open with only a wall separating it from the rest of the bathroom, and I just thought it was the fanciest thing ever. I felt so rich and famous taking a shower in that bathroom. It was lovely. The whole room wasn't exactly shaped like I have here, but I just wanted to make the shower kind of reminiscent of that. Trying to figure out the dimensions of the rest of the house. I noticed it was starting to look a little bit square around the back, so I moved in the end of the hallway, I moved in the bathroom, just to make the outside of the house look a little bit more interesting. And I kept going back and forth between the living room and the kitchen and the living room and the kitchen. Eventually I figured it out, but here I love this giant bookshelf with this kind of cutout area that fits this TV perfectly. So I do like to use that one a lot. This was a little bit weird for me because I generally like using dark furniture. I like a lot of blacks and dark browns, like mahogany looking furniture. But I thought I wanted to make this one a little bit more bright and airy looking on the inside, so I used a lot of whites and grays and a few blue tones here and there. I really wanted to put in a fireplace for some reason. I think this house would have been fine without it, but I was like, nah, I want a fireplace. I want this place to look fancy. And of course, as I'm building this room, the wall just keeps going further and further and further out until it turns where I have that desk there. And it kind of made for a very awkward shape because I thought at first I would just continue it, the front wall of the house, the wall that's at the desk there, just continue it sideways. But then it would have made for way too big of a living space and I wouldn't have known what to put in there. And I ended up trying to move stuff around for ages. So moving on to the kitchen, this was also something that took me a while. I wanted to put an island in there. I wanted it to be a cozy little kitchen, but also not too cramped and not too huge and grand, if that makes any sense. I wanted a nice balance of size, I guess. A nice stove, some good counter space, and an island was really all I wanted there. And then you can see here how weird that shape is. I mean, maybe a better builder could have made that work. But I was so set on having the fireplace there, I didn't even think about rearranging any of that furniture. I just wanted it like that. And I'm trying to figure out the orientation of the kitchen, because obviously I need to make that room way smaller, so I'm moving everything away from the walls. And that makes that corner into the living room even more awkward. So this took me a cool minute to try to figure out, but eventually I got there. And I wanted to keep this looking pretty family friendly. A lot of my builds tend to be more on the, I don't want to say sophisticated side because a lot of them are not sophisticated by any means, but not a lot of kids stuff. And I wanted to add in a kid's bedroom, keep it, family friendly, not super clean and, nice looking, if that makes any sense. Not that you can't have a nice looking house with kids, but I wanted it to look homey and welcoming for families. I rarely make kids' bedrooms, so I just kind of grabbed whatever kids' furniture I thought would need to go in there, a bed, a dresser, maybe a dollhouse, a little nightstand. And of course, a lot of those are just placeholders for now. I also couldn't really figure out what to do with the front door, with it leading right into the kitchen or right into the living room, or what I wanted to do with that. So that's why I decided to move the kids' bedroom towards the front of the house, and then I could add that little entry hallway. The roofing took me years to figure out. It felt like years. This weird wall thing that I did here, I thought there was some way to do the roofing for that because I just remembered there was like either a hexagonal room or some kind of something that I was remembering where you can drag one wall and it makes half of the walls longer and then you still have shorter diagonals like it is here. And I thought you could do the same thing with the roof, but it turns out you can't. So I tried to figure out a way to kind of force the roofs to look like they fit over that. I had it in my head looking wonderful, but of course, translating from your brain onto the actual screen, it doesn't always work. The rest of the roofing, I just kind of threw down some pieces, and it looked really weird to me. Eventually, I just got rid of everything. I thought maybe I could attach this back piece to that weird front piece, and then there's just so many nooks and crannies on that roof. I know it doesn't work this way in The Sims, but I keep thinking, like, if it rains, think of all that water that would collect there. It would just soak right through the roof. So eventually I just ended up changing the shape of the room. I got rid of those diagonal walls, and it made it so much easier. And it also ended up looking a little nicer. I wanted to do something a little bit more interesting with the roofs than just throwing down, generic roofs like this, but I was kind of getting tired of roofing, so I just did what worked. And I figured in future builds I can experiment a little bit more, but this was what I could do with what I had built. I wasn't really sure what I wanted the outside to look like. I really, really liked the look of light stone with white siding, and I had this little nook on the side that at first I wanted to keep it just grass and put some plants down there, but I really hate having that space underneath the roof where it looks like you can see into the rest of the house. So I ended up adding the foundation there and then filling that with plants, and it actually came out looking really cute. And I love the look of darker roofs with lighter wall colors. I really like the contrast of that. It kind of makes it more interesting. I thought about maybe taking the deck out further and stretching along that whole white front wall, but I never know what to put there. And I was about to move on and I completely forgot that this house has no windows. So thought I'd slap some of those in there before I completely forgot and just uploaded it to the gallery completely windowless. I tend to put way too many windows sometimes, so I've been trying to work on that, not putting too many windows. Sometimes blank walls are okay. So here I'm filling this with some plants. I thought it would look really cute like a little attached planter box and just add some cute decoration and greenery to the outside of the house, especially with that really weird little nook that ended up being there because of how the bathroom and the bedroom are built around the kitchen. And I thought, yeah, I'll put some plants in there. That'd be cute. I love that we can alt move windows now. That makes it so much easier to make it look the way you want it to look. I got so frustrated in the past with window placement, but I really, really love that they added that to the game. So I'm going back to the interior now, adding in some flooring. This is probably my favorite wood flooring. It's the perfect color. The wood just looks really soft and pleasant to walk on. So I thought I'd put that throughout the whole house, except the bathrooms, of course. And all of the cool kitchen stuff, I absolutely love. I think it looks so clean and modern, but not too severe, if that makes any sense. I love all the different swatches. I made an entirely red and blue kitchen one time, which I thought would look absolutely awful, but in the end it ended up really looking quite cute because of the pop of color, because of the rest of the house being pretty muted. So here I just kept it nice and gray and white. I put in a few little blue accents with the appliances. And I love that piece of clutter, the cereal box with the cans. It just makes it look more like a kitchen to me. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I have to put that in every one of my builds. Just have a cereal box somewhere. And I also wanted the walls in here to look different from the rest of the house because I'm not putting in different flooring for the kitchen. I wanted to at least separate it with a different wall color. And I was worried at first that I wouldn't be able to fit a round table in here because I love round dining tables, but I ended up making it work. I only put down 4 chairs. And the table was a lot smaller than I remembered. I haven't actually played The Sims in a few months, so I'm a little bit rusty. Just kind of using this build to get back into it. But I put this really nice, I don't know if you'd call that a brown, beige hint of lavender color maybe. There's something purplish in there to me. I don't know if I'm just seeing things, but I love this wall color. So I put that down in the rest of the house, aside from the bedrooms. But I thought it looked really nice, very welcoming without having such severe white walls. I don't really mind white walls in real life, but for some reason in Sims houses, it always looks really bland and boring to me. Unless it's for a specific type of style, then it works. But a house like this with just white walls, I don't know. Personally, it's not really for me. I'm just doing the little entryway right here. I put some shoes on one side, a coat rack on the other, and I like to have a little seating area where you can sit down to lace up your boots if you need to. And then I had this huge blank wall in the living room that I wasn't really sure what to do with. So I thought, hey, maybe I'll throw in some windows there. And of course, looking at the outside of the house, it looked like all my builds where I've put way too many windows. So I was just like, no, let's get rid of that. That's too much. And I thought putting in a skill building thing or two would help. Just fill in that corner with an easel. I was just looking for some wall art, maybe some paintings, some stuff for the kid to have there. So I put in that family bulletin board. I was trying to find some good paintings to fill in that space too. And I thought some white and green would be nice. And I just put in a nicer computer than the placeholder I'd had. And I put the little kid's desk right next to it so they could sit there together and work on their own projects. And I thought that'd be a really cute thing to do. And having narrow tables like this behind couches, I always love how it fills up a space. I don't know what it is about it. I just love the look of it. So I threw in some books, a little bit more clutter. And of course, the obligatory mirror over the fireplace. And I kept having to remind myself that a kid lives here, so I added in that little robot toy up there. Just different things, so it's not so much like the way I would decorate a house personally. I have to remember that there are children living here too. It's something I'm working on, more family style homes. And this bookshelf always had so many empty spots on it. I could have taken so much time to, alt place and lift things up to fit into those nooks and keep moving the bookshelf back and forth. But by this point, after that roofing, I was just so exhausted. I just wanted to put in whatever I could throw in without moving it back and forth all the time. So I remembered one time I had put a couple prints in the back of that big nook before, and I was like, oh, I'll do that again. That looked really cute, and just put some books in front of it. I kept trying to place this butterfly picture further back in there, and I couldn't figure it out. I've done it before, but for some reason I just gave up on that one. Moving along to the kids' room, I wanted, a nice bright color, but not too bright, so I settled with this nice soft pink to match some of the furniture in there. I decided to keep the furniture that I had added as placeholders and just change some of the swatches around. And I love these curtains for kids' style rooms because they're so colorful. And just some wall decals and stuff. And now moving on to the master, I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do with the color palette in here. At first I was going to change the bed, and then I decided, no, I'll keep that bed and just pick a different swatch. And then I wanted to do, because the rest of the house was so bright, I wanted to do something darker and cozier in here. So I started using these like burnt orange and dark woods and hoping they just all kind of fit together, but I wasn't really happy with the outcome after I put in the wall color. I started putting light colors back in, more soft beiges, but I kept the walls a little bit darker just to make it feel cozier. To me, darker rooms are cozier. They don't really seem more enclosed to me. I mean, at least personally. I prefer, at least for the bedroom, to have it be a little bit darker because it just feels more like a sanctuary, I guess you could say. And I put in a hamper, but no laundry room. So I was just looking for a space filler for that corner without adding another plant in. And I couldn't really find wall art that matched the color palette in here. I'm sure it exists. I don't know, I couldn't really find it. So hopefully that doesn't clash too much. Going back into this wonderful bathroom, I wanted to keep it nice and bright and white walls, white floors, have a nice big sink counter with the full mirror. And of course, that shower that's only separated by the wall, I love it so much. I don't know why. I just felt so fancy and successful in life showering in that shower in Iceland that one time. And then going to the other bathroom, what a difference this is. I just put in, that cute tile wall. And of course, I kept the placeholders in here as well because I thought they worked for, the little main bathroom for guests and the bathtub for the kid and stuff. And then moving back to the outside, I just put down a couple of trees to add some shade. Adding trees to a lot just always makes it look more natural and interesting, I guess you could say. I do love the desert aesthetic that a lot of people have in their yards. I love the kind of the sand and sparse kind of deserty plants look, but I thought that didn't really match this house. I wanted to put something more lively and green, including a white picket fence. You gotta have a white picket fence with a family home like this, at least a basic one like I'm building. So I threw one of those around. I thought a hedge would be a little bit better for the backyard for, privacy reasons. Not that it really matters in The Sims, but as far as looks go, I like having a hedge around a backyard. So I threw in a little swing set for the kid, a little barbecue. I thought it'd be really nice to have little barbecue dinners on the weekends in the summer in the backyard. And there you have it. That is my very basic family home. This is my first speed build. And I'm still working on being able to find the words to fill a whole video of just voiceover. I don't know how people do it. I'm just kind of winging it at this point. Maybe I'll get used to it further down the road, but here are the screenshots of the inside. I think it came together quite nicely. I really like how the kitchen ended up looking, even though I did struggle with that a little bit. Yeah, thank you so much for watching.